Oh, folks, this here is just that Galaxy 959 I've been using. Um, really not much to see here other than I just lowered the dead key on it, so I'll be able to go ahead and run it with the amp and, any amp and have a lot more control on it. It was at a 1 watt dead key and it was just driving those little amps too hard. Um, so I put it at half a watt dead key. And I wish I could do this with, if I had 3 hands, but I'll roll the power all the way up. There we are on high power, just shy of 5 watts, probably 4 3/4, something like that. Here, let me try to go ahead and key this mic, and I'll roll it down. So now we got from half a watt all the way up to about 5. Now I've got full control if I want to run it with an amp. And might as well show you where to adjust this thing at. So stand by and I'll show you. Alright, so check it out. I mean, anyone can do this. You just get online and, I just went to Galaxy Radios. You can go to CB Tricks and get color schematics or whatever. But, real simple. This is right from Galaxy itself. It tells you where everything is. Just look for the little variable resistor in there and, hook it up to your meter and do what you need to do. Don't mess with, I'll tell you what, don't mess with anything on here if you don't know what you're doing. Except, I know how to do the final bias and all that crap, but you got to get a voltmeter out and, you got to check voltages and there's a certain procedure you have to do it. But, as far as any newbie just buying one of these radios and just wanting to turn the modulation up a little bit and, adjusting maybe the power so you can run a little amp or something, you need a lower dead key. All you're going to be messing with is VR18, which is AM low power, and VR14, which is AM high power. That's when your variable's rolled all the way up. That's when it's rolled all the way down. There's your VR16. There's your AM modulation. Those are the only three you should be even be messing with, in my opinion. Otherwise, you start messing with this other stuff, you're in trouble. You should read that. But so you just go in here and you look for VR18, which is right here, and you adjust it. Now, I would make note of exactly where it is. Maybe snap a photo of it. Maybe mark a little line on the side of it. Whatever works for you. Maybe put a little black line on the top going front to back. Whatever works for you, so you know exactly where it was. In case you think you messed something up. But as long as you have it on a meter, you're gonna be all right. So, anyways, there's your V18. You just adjust it with a little screwdriver. I don't remember if this one's counterclockwise or clockwise, even though I just did it. Some are clockwise, some are counterclockwise. Just don't force it. Once it stops, it stops. That's it. Don't try to force it anymore. You're gonna break them. These things are very delicate. These things here, don't mess around with any of these. Leave them alone. You got no business in any of that stuff unless you're a technician that's doing a full alignment. We're just worrying about, VR18. Anyways, that's your low power. I believe it was VR14, which was the high power. Yeah, VR14 is the high power. So you just go in here and you look around until you find VR14, and you're going to adjust that. And, I'm doing it just like you would. I just got to go in here and look around and find it. Yeah, I see all the other ones. I didn't have to adjust the high power. It was already good. There's VR16. There's VR13. It's been a while since I used to be in these Galaxies all the time. It's been a while. I really kind of forgot where stuff is, but VR. Oh, right here. Okay, here's VR14 right here. VR stands for variable resistor. That's what these are. So the same thing. What you would do for that one, your high power, is you would turn your variable power all the way clockwise so it gets to high, and you would adjust that where you want it. And with the low power, the VR18, you would turn your variable power on the front of the radio all the way down counterclockwise, and then you adjust that where you want it. Usually I put these about half a watt. That's where I put this one on the low end. And on the high end, all you need is 4 or 5 watts. I wouldn't go any higher than that. You start cranking it up, you're just going to create heat. You're just going to heat these finals up, and you're going to heat this regulator up, and just going to cause trouble. But it's real simple. There you go. And then I believe the modulation, what was that, VR15? Oh no, that's the meter. You don't want that. VR16. Like I said, it's been a while since I've been in here. So VR, and some radios like the Strikers, they're labeled in there. They'll tell you exactly what they are, and I think the Uniden 980 tells you exactly what it is. Anyways, we're looking for the VR16, which I just saw. Okay, here we are right here. If you look right here, where's my finger? There we go. VR16. So it's the one right above where the low power is. Now with the modulation, like I said, I don't remember if it's clockwise or counterclockwise. You'll just you'll be able to tell. You turn it all the way one way, you're not going to get any power out of it. Turn it all the other way, you're going to be, getting probably 130% modulation out of it. To adjust that, you should really have an oscilloscope. That way you can actually see the the waveform, the peaks, and you want to get the negative and positive peaks. You want them round. You don't want them all square topped. But if you don't have it, you don't have it. So I know a lot of ham guys are going to scream at me, but I mean, come on, it's a sub $200 radio, $200 maybe, and you just want a little more modulation because all these radios, they come set at like 60%. They're pathetic. You have to open them up. So let's say you don't have any equipment at all. You're a newbie. You don't know what you're doing. Is it okay to open that modulation all the way up? In my opinion, yes. You can open it all the way up. And then what you can do is you can go on the front of your radio here, and you have your mic gain right here. Okay? The radio's upside down. All the way down, people aren't going to hear you very good. You start going up, they're going to hear you more and more. You're going to increase your modulation. From the factory, you can go all the way open, and you're still not going to be at 100% modulation. You might be at 60 or 70%. But now you're all the way open. Let's say you turn that modulation variable resistor in there all the way open. And let's say you're at 130% now, and you're splattering on other channels, and whatever. You can turn this down. You can probably turn it to half, but you can play with this, and you can get your 100%. From my experience, these Galaxies, if you open that modulation variable resistor all the way open, you don't want to run this all the way open because you're going to start heating stuff up. You can run it about probably 1 or 2 o'clock, and on the dial, and it sounds pretty clean there. If you want that raspy sounding radio, and a lot of guys like that sound. I actually like that sound. I just don't like splattering, but I like the sound. I kind of wish it would sound like that without splattering and putting the power over everywhere else. But yeah, you can basically, you open that up. Here's your modulation right here. You can control it where you want it. Don't let anyone tell you you can't. Set it at halfway, and just go from there. People will tell you how you sound. Now, you can just turn it up a little bit too. I mean, you can totally play with it. I'll tell you another way you can do it. Stand by real quick. I'm going to show you this, guys. Maybe it'll help someone. All right, once again, I'm not saying this is the right way to do it. The right way to do it is with an oscilloscope. I totally agree. Let's say you don't have one. You're not a CB shop in your area, or I don't know. You don't have the money to do it. You just want to get a little more modulation. You're just starting off. So you can get it doesn't have to be a handheld, but these are cheap. You can pick up a little handheld CB radio anywhere. I've got like 5 or 6 of these. All right, you take your antenna off and you get yourself a pair of headphones. Plug your headphones in. Put the headphones over your ears. I've got mine in the drawer, so I'm not going to pull them out. And you key the radio up, listen, adjust the volume where it's comfortable for you. And let's say you're, now we're assuming that you're over there on an antenna, not on a dummy load. But you can do this on a dummy load too. It's close enough where you'll be able to hear. So I guess it doesn't matter. Let's say you're on 20. Doesn't matter whatever channel. So I just like to always be on 20. So there you go. Turn your radio on. Set your set your squelch. Put your headphones in. Put them on your ears, and you're gonna want to listen. So while you're adjusting that modulation in there, you're going to have the headphones over your ears. And you're going to be adjusting it with your screwdriver. And, some people like to adjust this exactly at halfway. So when it's straight up at 12 o'clock, you have your 100% modulation. And then anyway, counterclockwise is lowering it. Anything clockwise is just splattering like crazy. Some guys like to go all the way open, okay? And then you set your modulation there. So whenever you're at that point, you're at your highest possible level. I have radios set up both ways. That striker over there is set up where it's, all the way open. It's at 100%. It's clean. My comp tune radio, when it's 12 o'clock, it's 100%. Anything to the right is just, maximum overdrive. But anyways, so you're going to get your microphone, you're going to key it up, and you're going to talk in it. And while you're adjusting that, I recommend you have your mic gain all the way open. So you adjust your modulation, variable resistor, talking in your microphone. You're going to hear yourself over the headphones. And you're going to be able to hear. It's going to sound real clean when you have the modulation turned down. And as you go up, you're going to get louder and louder and louder, and you're going to start sounding better. And then you're going to reach that point where it starts, you can tell, it's just overdriven, it's raspy, it doesn't sound clean anymore. And if you keep going, you're going to keep hearing more of it. So what you want to do is you want to turn it back right until you get to that point where it goes from clean to where it starts getting, right there at that, you want to get it to the loudest possible point you can without it getting all dirty and like overdriven. That's the only way I can put it. And that's where you want to set your modulation right about there. That'll probably give you about 110% or so. You want to kick it back just a tiny bit, you're probably going to be right about 100%, right when you reach that loudest, cleanest possible. But once it starts getting raspy, you went too far. Now, it's okay if you like that sound, like I said, because you can always turn this back, and all this is doing is acting just like that, but on the outside of the radio. So it's up to you. I know you techs aren't going to agree with it. This is just a down and dirty way if you don't have an oscilloscope. That's all I'm saying. There is a way to do it with the radio and headphones, and I've gotten so good at it, I can set these damn things right about 100% because, I got a real good ear for it. But let's say you don't even have one of these. Just open the potentiometer up. Just turn it all the way open and just adjust it right here. You'll be fine. You'll be perfectly fine. You probably want to set this, like I say, about 1 o'clock or so, and you'll be good. Just, like a knob on a radio. And what else was I going to say here? Oh, yeah. All right, I forget which diode it is or whatever it is. I believe it's a diode in this radio. I don't know. You're going to read online. Okay, a lot of people are going to tell you, or I should say articles, probably not technician, but articles. I don't even know which one it is, but one of these little resistors, I think it's a diode in the Galaxy. I think it's a resistor in the no, it is a diode, I think, in the Cobras. Anyways, whatever it is, you might read that, you take a little tiny pair of miniature side cutters or a nail clipper or something, and you clip whichever one they tell you. You clip one side of it and lift it up. Well, all that's doing is that's making this radio as if you turn that wide open, and now you have no more control on the front of the radio. Now you're wide open, probably 130, 140, 150% modulation all the time. And that would be fine if you had the control up here, but you no longer have it. It's just wide open. There's no adjustment. It's just maximum overdrive all the time. Don't do that. Just don't do it. It ruins a radio. It just makes everything so hot, and it makes it overwork all the time, and half your power is gonna go on frequency, and half's gonna go on 54 megahertz, and you're gonna just splatter on probably 3, 4, 5 adjoining channels. It's just don't do it. And then another thing you might read is these coils. It doesn't matter if it's a Cobra, a Galaxy, whatever it is. They're going to tell you to go to these coils back here. Now, this is from the factory, how those coils are spread like that. That is from the factory. It has not been touched. They're going to tell you to start opening these up and spreading them apart and holler in the microphone until you see the most wattage on your meter. You're not getting any more power out of it. All it's doing is it's creating harmonics. It's going everywhere, and it's really ghost watts is what it is. And it looks good on the meter. It'll make your meter, probably swing like crazy. If you do that and you cut that diode, oh, that meter's gonna be happy. But it's not true power. It's all harmonics. It's wasted power. So guys, my recommendation is you never touch these. Leave them alone, unless you're a technician who does this every day and can see exactly what he's doing on his equipment. Don't ever touch those, no matter what anyone tells you. Don't clip anything out of the radio. I see absolutely no harm in turning your modulation all the way up. You can still control it on the front of the radio. That's up to you. I have not done this to this one. This one is set 100. When this is open, it is 100%. My buddy, who's a tech, set this up on his oscilloscope and everything else. So, yeah, that's my take on it, and I hope it helps someone out there. Yeah, this one here does have extra channels. I put these in here. Just gives you extra channels. It's a super easy mod. You just clip a couple wires and run some wires, but it's all been aligned after all this has been done. All right, folks, I know I rambled a lot, but I hope this helps you. A lot of folks will go in there with the screwdriver. It seems like, especially after they start drinking alcohol, and they'll start turning stuff. Don't go in here and start turning stuff. I mean, even like I told you for those power settings, if you're unsure, you can put a mark on it. Even if you put an absolute 100% perfect line on the side and on the top, and it lines up perfect, you're never going to get it in the same 100% exact spot. It's a variable resistor. They're finicky. The only ones I recommend doing, low power, high power, and the modulation. Leave everything else alone. All right, folks. Hope it helps, or it's been informative, or you can laugh at me and, say what you want. Works for me. Okay, have a good one.